of the living, he is the first. He's the owner of mercy. He sent his messengers to all his creatures of the grave danger of worshiping other than Allah. There is none greater.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of Allah, our Creator, the Creator of the universe, everything that's in it. I greet you, my dear viewers, in our Islamic way. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah's peace, mercy, and blessings be with you all. We have been in the previous few episodes discussing the scientific precision of the notion about the firmament in the glorious Qur'an. And we mentioned that the firmament is mentioned in the glorious Qur'an 310 times, 120 times in the singular form, and 190 times in the plural form. And we said this is simply because Allah has created initially a single earth and a single sky, and then He differentiated the single earth into 7 different earths before He differentiated the single firmament into 7 distinctive firmaments. And also we mentioned that every of these single notions, 310 notions about the firmament, has been really tailored in such a very precise way that can easily testify to the divine nature of this noble book, the glorious Qur'an. And we stopped at the verse number 14 and 15 in Surah Al-Hijr, chapter number 15 in the glorious Qur'an. And these 2 verses read, وَلَوْ فَتَحْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ بَابًا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ فَظَلُّوا فِيهِ يَعْرُجُونَ لَقَالُوا إِنَّمَا سُكِّرَتْ أَبْصَارُنَا بَلْ نَحْنُ قَوْمٌ مَسْحُورُونَ. Even if we were to open for them a gateway from the heaven or in the heaven, and they were to continue all day time ascending therein, they would only say, our eyes have been closed up, nay, we have been bewitched by sorcery. And these 2 verses actually contain 5 distinctive, very precise scientific notions. The first of these is, وَلَوْ فَتَحْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ بَابًا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ. Even if we were to open a gateway for them in the firmament. And because this implies that the firmament is a very well-established structure, because a gateway cannot be opened in emptiness. And many people have actually believed that the sky's emptiness. They talk about the emptiness of outer space. And science tells us today that our universe does not know any form of emptiness. If there is a gap in the firmament, the whole universe will collapse. The second, فَظَلُّوا. They kept on ascending in curved lines during daytime. And this to emphasize the fact that the ascension was not during the night. To emphasize that what's coming after that they will discover the darkness of the universe. فَظَلُّوا فِيهِ يَعْرُجُونَ. And the Qur'an persistently describes ascension in outer space by the word يعرج or عروج, because actually this is the movement of a length. And science tells us today that no form, matter nor energy, can ascend into the sky in a straight line due to the different pull of the different heavenly bodies. Each of these heavenly bodies has got its own density and its own power to pull that ascending form of matter or energy. لَقَالُوا إِنَّمَا سُكِّرَتْ أَبْصَارُنَا. They would immediately say that our eyesight has been shut or something magic has come over us. And this is exactly what was said by the first astronaut to traverse the daylight zone, which is a very thin zone, only 100 kilometers or so. And if we compare it to the distance between the Earth and the Sun, 150 million kilometers, this will come to the ratio over 1.5 million. And that's why the Qur'an mentions or emphasizes the thinness of the daylight zone in Surah Yasin by saying, وَآيَةٌ لَهُمُ اللَّيْلُ نَسْلَخُ مِنْهُ النَّهَارَ فَإِذَا هُمْ مُظْلِمُونَ. A sign for them is that the night would skin the daylight from it, and then they will face absolute darkness. So these facts came to be known only after space travel, and for the glorious Qur'an to spell it out that precisely is a really living testimony that this noble book cannot be the work of man. It's the divine word and its divine purity. And then we come to verse in Surah Al-Isra, chapter number 17 in the glorious Qur'an, verse number 12. جعلنا الليل والنهار آيتين فمحونا آية الليل وجعلنا آية النهار مبصرة لتبتغوا فضلا من ربكم وليتعلموا عدد السنين والحساب وكل شيء فصلناه تفصيلا. We have made the night and the day as two of our signs. The sign of the night we have obliterated, while the sun of the day we have made bright, that you may seek bounty from your Lord, and that you may know the number and count of the years. All things have we explained in detail. Actually, this verse contains a very important scientific fact that came to our knowledge only very recently. The verse says that there are two signs, a sign for the day and a sign for the night, and then the sign of the night has been obliterated. And only recently, science have discovered what we know of as the polar light or polar dawn. And these polar lights could not be understood. Vertical curtains of light of different colors that come from the two poles towards the earth. They are well seen in the polar region, and they fade out gradually throughout the rest of the earth. And people could not explain where these lights come from. Only very recently we came to realize that these lights are the result of bombardment of the earth by cosmic radiation. These cosmic rays are absolutely lethal to life. And that's why Allah, out of His mercy, has protected the earth with several protective layers. We have the atmosphere, we have the ozone layer, we have the ionosphere, we have the radiation belts, we have the exosphere, we have the magnetosphere. All these are protective zones to make life on the surface of our planet feasible and possible. And from this verse we came to understand that these protective layers, which envelop the earth completely, having a crescentic cross-section, they thin out at the two poles and they thicken at the equator. And that's because of this we see this polar light more at the two poles than anywhere else. We came to understand from this verse that these protective zones of the earth were not created in the early stages of the creation of the earth, before life was created. And they were created gradually. And that's why in the early days of the creation of the earth, the night was lit by the polar lights, and during the day it was lit by the sun rays. And Allah knows in His eternal knowledge that life, all forms of earthly life, plants, animals, and humans, cannot withstand living throughout the darkness of the night all the time, or withstand living under daylight all the time. And that's why He created these protective zones around the earth to make the 24 hours of the day divided almost equally into day and night, because all forms of earthly life cannot withstand darkness forever or light forever. And that's why Allah is showing His bounty upon us in this verse. وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ وَالنَّهَارَ آيَتَيْنِ. We have made the night and the day as two of our signs. فَمَحَوْنَا آيَةَ اللَّيْلِ. We have obliterated the sign of the night, which are these cosmic radiation that illuminates the polar zone in our time. We have obliterated the sign of the night, and وَجَعَلْنَا آيَةَ النَّهَارِ مُبْصِرَةً, and we have made the sign of the day quite obvious. لِتَبْتَغُوا فَضْلًا مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ, so that you can seek bounds from your Lord. وَلِتَعْلَمُوا عَدَدَ السِّنِينَ وَالْحِسَابِ, so that you can reckon for time. Without the passing of night and day, man could never reckon the time. وَلِتَعْلَمُوا عَدَدَ السِّنِينَ وَالْحِسَابِ وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ فَصَّلْنَاهُ تَفْصِيلًا. Verily, we have elaborated everything in great detail so that you, humans, can easily recognize and easily realize that this universe is not created by randomness or by an accident. It was carefully created by a great creator with great wisdom and great might, and is actually taken care of by this great creator. And that's why Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, used to supplicate to Allah, اللهم لا تكلنا لأنفسنا ولا لأحد من خلقك طرفة عين ولا أقل من ذلك. O our Lord, do not let us to our own selves or to somebody else other than your great self, because if you were left to our own care or the care of other creation, we would be completely lost. And enough to mention that these cosmic radiations are absolutely lethal to life, and without creating these successive protective zones for life on Earth, actually life on the surface of that planet would have been virtually impossible. I think we have to come to a short break, then we will meet again to continue with this discussion. And until then, I thank you for listening and greet you in our Islamic way. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Dialogue. Discussion. Debate. Rebuttal. Conclusion.
Eliminate misconceptions about religion. Get enlightened.
Witness Dr. Zakir Naik in a battle of words in Crossfire every Friday at 8:30 p.m. and repeat telecast at 10 a.m. Saudi Arabia on Peace TV. Let's come under the shade of the scholars.
So the issue is a problem of knowledge.
Asim Al-Hakim.
Why do people do bid'ah?
Imam Malik said, whoever claims there is a good innovation in the deen,
Salim Al-Amri.
he is accusing that Prophet Muhammad did not convey the message.
Dr. Mamdouh Muhammad.
If you know that the Prophet ﷺ did something and I do something else, you have to follow the Prophet ﷺ. Don't follow me.
Abdul Rahim McCarthy.
But if each one believes his goal is to please Allah, to follow the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Abdul Rahim Green.
I think this really is to do with your internal state.
Where does the Qur'an and Sunnah point to?
Muhammad Al-Sharif.
We have to follow what Allah and His Messenger said.
Let's imbibe from these scholars the fruitful solutions for the problems of the world.
Which one we would take and which one we would leave?
Question to every Muslim.
In the shade of the scholars. Next on Peace TV.
Welcome after this short break. We were discussing the scientific precision of the glorious Qur'an and describing the firmament or the sky or the heaven in 310 different verses, both in the singular form and in the plural form. And we have come to a verse in Surah Yunus, chapter number 10 in the glorious Qur'an, verse number 5, which reads, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, هو الذي جعل الشمس ضياء والقمر نورا وقدره منازل لتعلموا عدد السنين والحساب ما خلق الله ذلك إلا بالحق يفصل الآيات لقوم يعلمون. It is He, meaning Allah, all glory be to Him. It is He who made the sun to be a source of energy and the moon to be a source of light, and decided its successive stages that you might know the number of the years and the count of time. Allah did not create this, but in truth and righteousness does He explain his science in detail for those who know. Of course, we know that there is a great difference between the solar radiation, which mostly cannot be seen. We have gamma rays, we have X-rays, we have ultraviolet rays, we have infrared rays, we have radio waves. All this cannot be seen. And we have a small fraction of the solar radiation that can be seen by the human eye, and which is designated the term visible light. And this visible light cannot even be seen until the different waves are intermingled together, mixed together, after several processes of reflection and refraction. And that's why the Qur'an persistently differentiates between the solar radiation, which is a form of energy, having very many electromagnetic waves, most of which cannot be seen by the human eyes, and the light of the moon, which is only this bunch of 7 wavelengths from the solar radiation that can be seen after being mixed together through repeated reflections and refractions. And this is in itself is a great testimony to the great scientific precision of the glorious Qur'an. It is He, meaning Allah, all glory be to Him, who made the sun to be a source of energy, the moon to be a source of light, and decided its successive stages, the successive stages of the moon. As a result of the rotation of the moon around its own axis and its revolution around the earth, we have several areas lit by the solar radiation on the surface of the moon, and these pass from complete eclipse to the crescent, to the first quarter, to the full moon, and then the second quarter, the dying out moon, until we go to the eclipse. And of course, these successive stages have been used to define the time for people on the surface of Earth very precisely. And that's why the verse reads, it's He, meaning Allah, all glory be to Him, who made the sun to be a source of energy and the moon to be a source of light, and decided the successive stages of the moon, that you might know the number of the years. The moon revolves around the earth in one lunar month, divided into 4 weeks and 29 to 30 days. And it revolves together with the earth around the sun in 1 year. And the lunar year is less than the solar year with 11 days, so that the acts of worship in Islam does not come in one season alone. We get fasting, we get pilgrimage, we get many of the rituals of Islam rotate with the rotation of the seasons. And this is really a miracle from Allah, all glory be to Him, لتعلموا عدد السنين والحساب, so that you can reckon the number of years and the time, exact time, day, week and month and year. ما خلق الله ذلك إلا بالحق. Allah did not create that except in great truth. يفصل الآيات لقوم يعلمون. He explains His science to people who can reason, so that they can know that nothing in that universe is chaotic or run on its own. The universe, with its great complexity and the great dimensions, needs a creator who really takes care of it and runs everything in it according to plan. And then finally we come to the last verse we have chosen for you in this topic, a scientific precision in the description of the firmament in the glorious Qur'an. The verse comes in Surah Al-Ra'd, verse number 2, and it reads, الله الذي رفع السماوات بغير عمد ترونها ثم استوى على العرش وسخر الشمس والقمر كل يجري لأجل مسمى يدبر الأمر يفصل الآيات لعلكم بلقاء ربكم توقنون. Allah is He who raised the heavens without any pillars that you can see. This means with non-seen pillars. And then he established himself on the throne in a way that suits his own glory. He has subjected the sun and the moon. Each one runs its course for a term appointed to emphasize that this worldly life is not eternity. We know that the sun is losing out of its mass in the form of energy, what equals 4.6 million tons every second. And in this alone is enough testimony for the very temporary nature of our worldly life. He does regulate all affairs, explaining the science in detail so that you may believe with certainty in the meeting with your Lord. The fact that we can see death all around us. Plants live and die, animals live and die, humans live and die. Stars are created and are destroyed. Planets are created and destroyed. So that we can see life and death all around us, so that people can realize that facing Allah, all glory be to Him, on the Day of Judgment is a necessity and is a must, which is sadly enough is denied by many of the materialistic people of our time, people who would like to see only what they can see and what they can touch and feel, so that Allah is showing His signs in the universe, in the glorious Qur'an, so that people can realize that we will definitely meet our Lord for the judgment, and there will be eternity in life to come, either in paradise forever or in hell forever. Of course, we now know that the universe is controlled by two main forces. The centrifugal force that pushes away minor bodies away from major bodies, and the gravity which pulls minor bodies to greater ones. So that these two opposing forces actually define the position of every heavenly body in that vast, immense, orderly universe. These forces cannot be seen. They can be measured, but they cannot be seen. And that's why the verse says, Allahu alladhi rafa'a as-samawati bighayri amadin tarawnaha. Allah has raised the firmament with pillars you cannot see. And actually, astronomers can describe the gravitational pull of minor bodies to larger ones and the centrifugal force that pushes minor bodies away from greater ones by the enforcement steel bars in a building. And but of course, these are bars that cannot be seen by man. They can be detected, they can be measured, but they cannot be seen by man. And that's why the verse says, Allahu alladhi rafa'a as-samawati bighayri amadin tarawnaha. Allah who has raised the heavens without any pillars you can see, meaning with pillars you cannot see. Then He established Himself on the throne in the way that suits His own glory, all glory be to Him. He has subjected the sun and the moon, the exact rotation of each of the sun and the moon in its own orbit, in itself a testimony to the great precision in the creation of that universe. And enough to mention that Allah has established the distance between the earth and the sun at a fixed measure, 150 million kilometers. And from the very beginning of the creation of the heavens and earth, because this is the ideal distance that can give us the energy and the matter from the sun and can protect us from the excessive radiations of the sun and the excessive heat of the sun. وسخر الشمس والقمر كل يجري لأجل مسمى. Everything in that universe has got a deadline at which it has to be destroyed. And we can see that ourselves in the living and non-living beings around ourselves. And then the verse ends by saying, يدبر الأمر يفصل الآيات لعلكم بلقاء ربكم توقنون. He does regulate everything, regulates all the affairs of this universe, explaining the science in detail, explaining the rules and regulations that govern that universe in detail, that you may believe with certainty in the meeting with your Lord. And until we meet in another episode, I thank you for listening and leave you in peace, praying for your best and greeting you in our Islamic way. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah's peace, mercy, and blessings be with you all.